Well, don't we all wish we could be the server for that anonymous customer who's been leaving anywhere from $1,000 to $10,000 tips by the moniker Tips for Jesus? Well, they've all been charged to a credit card, and all charges have successfully gone through. Unfortunately, as customers ourselves, we don't typically have $10,000 to leave as a tip. As a matter of fact, we struggle with the topic of tipping throughout the year, and especially now during the holidays, figuring out how much to tip, not to mention who to tip. It can all get a little bit confusing. Well, Angie's List asks some highly rated service providers to weigh in.
'Tis the season for giving.
This time of year, the question of tipping your service companies comes up really often. And most people automatically think, I need to pay cash. But what they don't realize is there's lots of other options. For example, I think one of the most powerful ways to say thank you to a provider is to write a nice letter to their company telling them what great service they provided you throughout the year.
The general rule around tipping in a salon is that there are no rules about tipping in general. We are similar to the restaurant business where around 20% is kind of generally what's accepted. But I would say that tips often reflect how well we do our job.
Tipping is pretty standard in the restaurant and personal services industries. But what about people who help with your home, like your plumber or your handyman? Do they expect tips?
I would say maybe a quarter to a half of our business that gives either my company or my workers tips. It's not expected necessarily, but we always appreciate it.
Angie's List says you don't always have to give a gift of cash to show your gratitude.
Tips come in many different forms. I've had customers oftentimes, I've had customers cook us dinner. We've been given sports tickets. The best form of appreciation that customers can show me is by having me back for more projects at their own property, in the near future, or also just referrals to friends, family, neighbors.
If you're working so busily from morning till night, sometimes that extra homemade Christmas candy is just what the doctor ordered when it comes to 4 o'clock and you haven't had lunch.
Now, Angie's List reminds you, you should never feel obligated to tip. But if you do decide to tip your tradesperson this holiday season, talk with the company owner first, make sure it's okay. Now, if you do decide to give cash, Angie's List put together some recommendations for you. For yard workers, handyman, that kind of thing, a tip of $20 to $50 might be in order, depending on how long they visit your home. For house cleaners, consider $25 to $50 a day's pay, or maybe a gift of equal value. If you use a service that sends a different house cleaner each time, that may not necessarily be necessary. For daily newspaper delivery, a holiday tip of $15 to $25 is appropriate, though the U.S. Postal Service frowns on gratuities and gifts for mail carriers. Authorities request that the gift or gratuity be $20 or less. Babysitters, the recommendation is a gift at the holidays from your kids, plus 1 or 2 nights' pay. For a full-time nanny, 1 to 4 weeks' pay, plus a small gift from your kids, that's appropriate. For standard child care providers, a gift at the holidays and $25 to $75 each. That might not be appropriate for some pre-kindergarten child care or education providers. Again, check with the manager of the facility to see what is appropriate, which might be a small gift from your kids. And some companies don't even allow their employees to accept tips, so give them a call, find out for sure. Well, now that we have eased your tipping concerns, we're going to try to ease whatever else may be stressing you out over this holiday season. Did you know a lot of your stress may be a result of what you eat? We're going to find out what foods could be causing some concern and offer you some healthier alternatives. One way to fight off stress is to make sure that you're getting enough sleep, but are you? We're going to learn some simple steps to help you catch your Z's. Delmarva Life. We'll be right back.